We start discussion about competitiveness in certain industrial sector, creation of competitive advantage uh, in the sector, industrial sector which we discussed. So this discussion is based on theory by Michael E. Porter. He described in his book The Competitive Advantage of Nations. In his research, he found out that industries are clustered, so they are located in quite small geographic areas, and industry is concentrated over there. The reasons why these clusters exist also support that kind of competitiveness of that industrial sector. For this book, Michael E. Porter made an extensive study about success factors of industries in different sectors in different countries. When you look at this theory, so it explains the reasons why certain industries are successful in highly developed industrialized countries. So we are not talking about developing countries. Developing countries could have very different kind of like background for success of certain industrial sector. Michael E. Porter found out that there are basically 4 key factors which are mentioned here, and then 2 additional ones which explain why certain industries have developed this type of like level of competitiveness, also in international perspective. They stay competitive for a longer period of time and at the top level. Well, these 4 key factors which are mentioned here on this slide: factor conditions, demand conditions, related and supporting industries, and firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. And then keep in mind we have 2 additional factors in addition to these 4. So let's start discussing about the first one of these, factor conditions. The nation's position in factors of production such as skilled labor or infrastructure. And with skilled labor, we refer to highly educated workforce in the area of the industry. And with the highly educated workforce, so we refer to university level educated workforce. Usually, so there are institutions, research institutions as well operating in the area, and highly educated workforce coming from these educational institutions. We have demand conditions, so the nature of home demand for industry's product or service. And when you think about this nature of demand, we have 2 separate characteristics of explaining this demand conditions and nature of demand. We have sophisticated demand, so which means that the customers at home would be looking for latest products, latest innovations. And then we have another concept to characterize this nature of demand is anticipatory demand. So that demand you face at home first would anticipate what follows later in some other markets. That's the idea. Those are two explaining kind of characteristics of this nature of home demand, what lies behind there. As a third factor, we have related and supporting industries. So the presence or absence in the nation of supplier industries and related industries that are internationally competitive. So You have suppliers, you have many other companies, partners with whom you do business. So very rarely, or it's almost like impossible that one company single-handedly would be in charge of or responsible for success of certain industrial area. This doesn't happen. So there are other companies who are involved in the creation of the cluster. Then we have firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. The conditions in the nation, how companies are created, organized, and managed, the nature of domestic rivalry. So firm strategy is that type of like company-specific decision about the strategy. For example, like I can give you a good example from Finland. So Nokia was like end of 80s in big trouble because of investments in consumer electronics. It was at the end of 80s, so operating in many different fields, also telecommunications, but it wasn't that big part of Nokia activities. And due to this, especially investment in consumer electronics, which failed catastrophically, they ended up in big financial trouble. And then company top management, Nokia top management made the decision to concentrate completely on telecommunications. And that was kind of like company-specific decision, which influenced development of Scandinavian telecom industry, so especially in Finland and Sweden, because there were two major companies involved in this global business area, and Nokia became the other big company in Scandinavia through this decision. How companies are organized, how they are managed, and the nature of domestic rivalry. So rivalry in the small geographic area creates incentive for companies to perform at a higher level. It's that's basically the background for new innovations. And it can be said that, so those are the 4 key factors. And it can be said that nations succeed in those areas where their home environment is the most dynamic, the most challenging and stimulating. And when thinking about developed nations, advantages throughout the diamond, so those 4 different reasons which were just previously discussed are needed to achieve and sustain competitive success. And then you have 2 additional variables which can influence the national system in important ways. And those are chance and government. Chance. Developments outside the control of firms, such as inventions, breakthroughs in technology, wars, political events. And there are discontinuities which reshape industry structure and provide opportunities for entrepreneurs. Companies often face these kind of discontinuities, so which are a result of certain type of unexpected event, and typically they change the business environment quite a lot. One classical example and also very good example of this kind of discontinuities is the emergence of PCs. And when personal computers emerged to the market, so basically IBM was leader in that type of like mid-size office computer technology, and as you know, so manufacturers of PCs were small companies that time. One of them was Apple, for example, and there were many others. Many of those companies don't exist anymore, so haven't existed for a long time anymore. Anyway, so IBM was looking at the development of the PC sector, and then they realized that hey, this is something like we want to be also involved in the future, and was basically the last possible moment, we could say 11th moment, when IBM made the decision that we are interested about PCs as well. And this was kind of classical example of discontinuity. New technology emerged into the market and technology leader so deciding to go in, and as we know, so in IBM's case, rest is history, as said. So they were very successful in this PC market. In addition to chance, the other one of these additional factors is government. So different policies of government may influence the different determinants of the diamond, and basically, so government can provide that kind of fruitful environment for companies to do business. It's not their job to be involved more closely to the business development. In some type of situation, it's often discussed that government should take a more central role in running the business, but it hasn't been proven successful. So we have in Finland many examples earlier, so where government tried to be involved in certain type of business areas, but it wasn't very successful. This is related to certain type of protectionism and maybe some political kind of desires from domestic perspective, especially. So could be drivers behind. So why some politicians would occasionally be more inclined towards this kind of government bigger role in running business and in economic life in general.